You ever walked into a kitchen and it just works? It's just perfect. And yours looks like a Pinterest fail? I know the feeling. It's not just the backsplash of the fancy faucet. Some kitchens just work. So what's the secret ingredient? I've got 7, maybe 8, maybe a bonus if you stick around, ideas for how to make your kitchen Pinterest worthy. So let's get to it. First up, functionality always. If the kitchen does not work, if the way you move through the kitchen is awkward, has got things in the way, is not laid out properly, no matter what you do, it will not work right. The old saying, you can't put lipstick on a pig, is very true. Even beautiful finishes on a bad design are just not going to make it work. How you move through the space, how your triangles are laid out, how the zones work, how you get from the sink to the fridge, from the fridge to the countertop, storage-wise. You have to think about all the aspects of the design of your kitchen first. Does the layout work right? It's like when you work out. No matter what you wear, it looks better because you're in shape. So when your kitchen's function is in shape, when it works right, no matter what finish you put on there, it's going to look better. If the flow is awkward or you're walking halfway across the house in order to get to the sink, it's never going to look beautiful. And you don't want to get your steps in the kitchen. Next up is function over the flash. So when we start designing a kitchen, we want to throw boxes on the wall. We want to throw boxes on top of boxes, glass boxes. We want cabinetry everywhere. Slow down and think about what you need, what you have, how you can store things, what you're going to store, and where you're going to store it before you start just throwing random boxes up there. You want to make sure that what you choose is deliberate for the function so that you get drawers for your big pots and pans that can pull out. You get spice rollouts. You get pantries that have trays. You get things that work for your kitchen. So when you're thinking about the functionality of the kitchen, think about how stuff is going to work. Not just the big 3 appliances, but how are your other appliances going to work? Where's your coffee maker going to go? Is it going to fit underneath those uppers? We're all doing these beautiful little light rails on the bottom of our upper cabinets in order to hide those under cabinet lights. If you do that and you don't raise your uppers to 20 or 22 inches, you're never going to be able to fit your Vitamix or your Breville or your smoothie maker, whatever it might be, your coffee maker underneath the cabinetry. When you think about these little details and how they work in your kitchen, it makes the overall design so much richer. To my heart, and that's the elegant details that make a kitchen special, that make your kitchen different than your neighbor's kitchen or your sister's kitchen or every other kitchen with Taj Mahal in white. It's those custom details. And when I say custom, I'm not talking about cha-ching custom. It does not have to be expensive. It has to be thoughtful. It has to consider who's going to cook in that kitchen and design features and elements just for that person. So things like a furniture-style toe kick or a built-in coffee bar. So there's lots of ways that you can make it custom and you can make it special to you. It can be thinking about the kinds of things that you like to cook and providing storage for that, or using an heirloom in the space, like grandma's armoire to store the microwave. Whatever it might be, it doesn't have to be expensive. It has to work with the design, and it has to mean something to the person who cooks in that space. So it doesn't scream, look at me, I am flashy and elegant. It says, this is for the person that lives here and cooks here, and it makes it that much more special. When your lighting, your hardware, your countertops, your door styles all have the same vibe, the kitchen feels and looks that much more luxurious. You want to spend time thinking about the different elements in your design and make sure that they talk to each other. Finishes are cohesive. So I'm not saying that your cabinet pulls have to match your light fixtures exactly, but they should speak to each other. They should have the same color, the same shape. They should have something in common that makes them look like they're going to the same party. You know what I mean? The next one is all about feng shui, and so I love it. Think about how many times you had to feed a child broccoli before they would swallow it.
But I don't want to eat the yucky. Broccoli, I don't want to eat it.
That's what repetition does in design. You have to repeat things in order for people to understand what the design idea is you're trying to convey. So in my daughter's bathroom, for instance, she picked these oval tiles. So we're going to do sort of an oval-shaped light fixture beside an oval-shaped mirror. So the oval will repeat in the design. It makes us more comfortable. It makes us calmer as humans when we see the same thing over and over again. It becomes familiar. It becomes more beautiful. So repeat items over and over again. If you use gold in your hardware, maybe you use it again in your faucet, or you repeat it again in a light fixture. You carry that element throughout the design. So in this kitchen, you can see the white repeats on the cabinets, on the back of the island, in the dishware. The black, the 10%, repeats in the windows and the light fixtures and in the recessed cans. Some accessories as well you can see are black. And the wood repeats in the shelves, the flooring, and the countertop and backsplash. In this design, we've got stainless on the light fixtures. We've also got it in the leading of the glass. We've got the curve in the leading of the glass, as well as the curve in the shape of the pendants over the island. And then you've got a glass pendant over the sink, which mimics that shape. You can see the wood elements carried around the kitchen, as well as the green, in order to add cohesiveness. So your eye follows the green around the room. By using these elements in different places around the room, we naturally look to find other silver in the room, other black in the room. Where's the other green? It has to make sense. In this kitchen, you can see, you can find all those pieces. Here are the wood, here's the green everywhere I go. There's glass everywhere I go. There's stainless everywhere I go. It starts to make sense. All right, what are we up to? I think we're up to 6. Number 6 is all about the space. And that is the negative space, the space to move in a kitchen, the space to do different tasks, to hang out, to do homework, to cook, to clean up, to sit and have coffee. When you give yourself room in the kitchen, and you don't have to have a 4,000 square foot home, but when you give yourself adequate clearances between perimeter cabinets and an island, or between the table and where the countertops end, it makes it feel grander. So be generous with the space, even if you don't have a lot to give. Find it in the vertical. Great kitchens give you space to move. You don't have to play Tetris to get around when drawers are opened, or we don't go that way when we have company. Be generous with your clearances and how you move around the space, and you will enjoy it that much more. Think about all the different things that you might do in the kitchen. So it's not just for prepping food, cooking food, serving food, eating food, cleaning food up, which is a lot of different things. Also, we hang out there, we do homework there, we have conversations, we might do projects, we spread out when we have parties there. So when you plan for multiple uses of the space, it'll work better. The best kitchens aren't just for cooking, they're for hanging out. They've got comfortable chairs, they've got warm floors, they've got seating that makes you want to stick around, they've got lighting that's flattering, and a place for everything. When you're thinking about the uses of your kitchen, think about the smart technology that's out there. Anything that you're adding to your kitchen should be helping you to do one of those functions in that kitchen. Smart ovens that you can preheat from your phone, or induction cooktops that are safer for children. There is smart technology out there that will help you, when you incorporate it, to use the space for multiple functions. There's also a lot of great smart technology out there for lighting. So now you can get fixtures that change color temperature, that dim down to sunset kind of levels, 1800 kelvins. There's lots of technology as far as your lighting goes. You can watch some of my videos for that. Dishwashers that leak detection or refrigerators that have leak detection. That's the kind of smart technology that's going to help you work in the kitchen. A TV in your fridge is just more technology that's going to break, and Samsung hasn't had a really good run with those. So I would stick with smart technology that helps me do my job. And that brings me to the final one, and that's the bonus. Simplicity always wins. The best kitchens are not overloaded with stuff. They're edited down. Everything's thrown in there, and then only the best stuff is left. When it comes to kitchens, they're a place where you gather to eat and to hang out with family. Let them be the colors and the vibrancy in the room, and let the room be the backdrop for all of those memories. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.